why now? Can you explain the timing, and was this your decision?
I think the statement speaks for itself. Obviously, I had conversations with President Wilson, but we thought it was important to provide clarity, and that's what was in the statement yesterday.
What was the timeline in terms of making this decision?
I really appreciate the question, and I understand the desire to know some more details. But as you heard Coach say, the content, the specifics, those are private conversations. We're going to keep it that way. What I will say is I hope everyone joins me, all Hawks, in really showing their appreciation to what Brian had, his commitment and passion, what Brian's done as a student athlete, as an alum, and as a coach of this program. And, we've got a head coach, incredibly successful head coach, Hall of Fame head coach with a steady hand who's going to be focused on leading this program, just like Brian is and the rest of the staff, towards a successful rest of the season. And I know our fans are going to continue to support them in a positive way.
Can you comment as to whether there was a lot of outside pressure, donors or whatever, that were getting on you to make a change?
I think anytime you're in these situations, you just you tune out what's around. It's our job to evaluate all the information we have. You make the best decision you can at the time for both the short and long term of a program, of the institution, and then that's what you go with.
Who was in that meeting when you decided?
As I mentioned, my statement's going to speak for itself. I'm not going to share any private information.
Do you feel like the timing does set you up to make a productive hire in the coming months, I guess, more so than waiting until, say, January 3rd or 4th to make a decision?
Again, the only consideration is what we think is in the best interest short term. And as you heard Coach mention, those decisions are made at the appropriate time, and he'll go forward as he thinks is best.
How much of a role will you have in the picking of another offensive coordinator? Will you have a role in that?
Just like with any of our sports and any of our coaches, we empower our head coaches to make decisions that they think are best in the hiring process. And of course, administrators are involved in how we engage with them and exchange ideas, but those are decisions that we'll leave up to the head coach.
Just given the dynamics of everything, did you end up talking to any members of the football team to kind of just say, hey, this is what we're happening, but just kind of stay focused, or was there any conversations like that, or did you just let the football staff handle that?
My door is always open for any student athlete, but Coach knows how to best handle the team and those conversations with his players.
You mentioned, Kirk, how revered he is here. How difficult was this decision, knowing that it is his son that is being let go?
I think anytime people are involved in any decision, it's difficult, right? And certainly those that mean a lot, to our university or institution. And so that's always a piece of a puzzle. But at the end of the day, you make the best decision you can, and what you think the best interest is of the program and the institution.
What was there a concern that after 2023 that you might lose Kirk now that you're dismissing Brian?
The concern anytime you would have to replace a Hall of Fame coach in any sport is real. Obviously, you want to, and we've got more than our fair share here at Iowa, and you want to keep them here as long as you can so they can continue to lead our great programs.
How much of a distraction or obstacle were the performance incentives in Brian's contract? I mean, obviously you didn't have anything to do with those, but you mentioned them. Were they a big problem with this? Did they make it harder?
Look, I mean, that again, looking back about what contributed to anything at this point is just not something I really want to get into. But again, what you do is you look at what's right in front of you. You take that information, what you can navigate, and you make the best decisions that you can.
Did the decision come down to the results from last Saturday against Minnesota? Like, could the decision have changed if it was a win against Minnesota, or if it was a loss against Wisconsin?
Yeah. Again, I appreciate the question. The statement speaks for itself. And that's all we're going to share about how we landed where we did.
Given the
should we read anything into the fact that there wasn't a statement from Kirk or Brian attached to the announcement yesterday?
I wouldn't. It's a statement for me. We heard Coach speak today, and at the end of the day, both Coach Kirk Ferentz and Brian Ferentz, I am 100% confident, just like they always have, that their focus is on those 120 guys in the locker room. That's been unwavering over time. It's been unwavering that I've watched week in and week out, and I guarantee you that's what they're thinking about right now.
Given the interim tag.
This isn't the type of move for an interim athletic director. Have you been given any kind of assurances or anything from President Wilson that this is something that you will have beyond an interim label?
I mean, I certainly understand there's a lot about this circumstance that is unique, and I'm doing only the job that she has asked me to do and serve in this interim role.
Given the interim tag, did that make the decision harder for you to pull the trigger, so to speak?
At the end of the day, I think, again, in any role in which we have a chance to serve these young men and these coaches and the institutions that we have an opportunity to work at, you do the best you can with where you are, and you do that within the role that's been provided to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Thanks, Beth.